So, you've just been in the studio recording your debut album, People Like Happy Ending. How did that go?
It went really well, thanks, but I didn't actually record it in the studio. I recorded it at home in the bedroom, so hopefully it sounds like a studio, but all that is done at home on my PC in a bedroom, recording the vocals with a duvet hung up in the cupboard.
Really?
It's my homemade vocal booth, yeah, it's all high tech. Yeah.
Sounds high tech, sounds good.
Yeah, it was good, but it's hard work. There's nobody there to twiddle any knobs or get a good sound for you. You're doing absolutely everything yourself. But to be honest, it's kind of the way I like it. I've had bad experiences in studios before because the clock is always ticking, and at maybe a good studio is maybe 150 quid an hour maybe. So if you make a cup of tea, that's 15 quid you just spent making a cup of tea. So
yeah.
I quite like to do it all at home, so I'm in control of everything. I can take my time and just get everything as I like it. So hopefully the results.
Do you think the sound quality is better in your room?
Better in my room. It's harder to get a good sound at home, to be honest. Because the room is reflective and you haven't got like a deadened live room or any of that stuff. But there's tricks you get used to. There are little tricks you can do at home to make it sound like it's a studio. And I used to do a lot of sound engineering, so I learned a lot of craft and the shortcuts to getting good sound. So hopefully it sort of, well, like you say, it sounds like I did it in the studio, and that's the idea. I've let the cat out of the bag now.
Could you share any of these little tricks?
Well, yeah, the old duvet in the cupboard is a good one for the vocals. When you record a vocal, usually in the studio it's a completely dead environment, so there's no kind of echo going on. You want a really true sound. When you record it at home, it's bouncing around all over the place. What you do is you open your cupboard doors, hang 2 duvets up over the cupboard doors, also a sofa cushion propped on the top, so essentially in a little kind of soundproof box of your cupboard. Record the vocals in there, dry as a bone. Sounds expensive, and it's not.
Is that the same way that you recorded the EP Weightless, or did you?
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same. Yeah, just did them both at home. But hopefully, I think there's a kind of a bit of a progression from what I did with the Weightless EP to what I did on the album. I think I slung a few more sort of sounds in there, and also at the same time tried to capture some of those real kind of intimate guitar sounds. There's quite a lot of finger picking guitar on the album, as well as those kind of analog synthy sounds, so I tried to mix it up a bit.
So would you say that you could feel a difference between recording the EP and recording the album?
Yeah, I'd say the main difference was not so much the recording environment. I recorded them both at home, but in different flats and moved hands between them. I'd say the main difference in feel was that having done it once with the Weightless EP, I knew that I could do it the second time. When I did the Weightless EP, it was all, can I get away with this? Can I re-record it at home and get a good sound out of it? By the time I got to the album, it was like, yeah, I can deliver this. So I felt more relaxed, and I think.
How would you describe the sound of your album?
That's a difficult question for any musician to answer, because what you think it sounds like is not necessarily what other people hear. People have described it as kind of like Nick Drake, kind of like Elliott Smith, and it's certainly got that kind of acoustic and fairly intimate feel, but at the same time I think there's obviously more sounds in it. There's quite a lot of analog synth sounds and little bits of banjo and stuff. I started to get influenced by kind of some sort of bluegrassy, rootsy stuff while I was doing it. So I've thrown a few more instruments into the mix, I think. So I kind of think of it as kind of sort of chunky folk is what I always describe it to people as.
Sounds good. You said just before that you do everything yourself, so would you consider yourself maybe a bit of a role model for others that sort of want to go it alone?
God, I've never thought of myself as a role model for anything, really. It would be nice if it kind of gave some other people some confidence.
Yeah.
Because like I say, before I did the Weightless EP, I didn't know if it was possible to really get away with it at home. But you can, and all you need these days genuinely is a PC and some skill, and a few tips and tricks, and you can do it yourself. You don't need thousands of pounds. You don't need to go into a really expensive studio. You can do it at home and stay in control of everything. I think that's one of the main things. Is you don't have to allow the record company to tell you how to record it. You don't have to have a producer tell you how to record it. You can get the sound you want.
Yeah.
Right there and then in your bedroom, so yeah.
I heard that you used to hang out with Banksy when you were young. Did he have an influence on your sound?
No, I wouldn't say he did. At the time, it was quite interesting because I was, right back in the day, I was a real rocker, and the hair's still a bit of hanging around from those days, but he was really into his kind of new model army, sort of quite sort of indie music for those times, and he did open my eyes to a few things, to be honest. He used to come around my house and play me a bit of new model army, and I was like, maybe there is more than heavy metal in the world. So yeah, in that sense, I suppose he did influence me really. Yeah. He's a really nice guy, actually. I'm not going to tell you who he is or any of that, but he totally deserves the success he's had.
He's an amazing artist.
Okay, so I read somewhere that you've had a few different hairstyles. Is that true?
That is true. I know that you brought me outside to get the kind of Bon Jovi hair metal look that you went to. Yeah, actually, it's almost exactly the same as it was when I was about 12, but in between, it's been kind of grade 2, and it's been cut with a nice kind of quib going across.
Oh.
There was maybe some mullet action going on every now and then, but it's kind of back to a steady, lots of hair.
Yeah, you gotta love the mullet. Yeah, it's a lovely condition.
So where can we find your music to listen to?
You can find it on stillman.mu. That's the brand new website. That's got edits of everything that's on the album and edits of things that are on the Weightless EP as well. So you can go there, or you can go to the MySpace site, which is myspace.com/StillmanUK, which also has edits, and you can sign up to be a MySpace friend. Yeah, so go online and find me. And you can also find me, of course, on ukmusicsearch.com.
We're on the Tower Bridge right now, the Tower of London. If you were sentenced to death in the Tower of London, what instrument would you take with you?
Well, that's an easy one for me because I've been a guitarist since I was about 12, so I think I'd have to take the guitar in with me and serenade my fellow prisoners, maybe. A quick rendition of Always Look on the Bright Side of Life on the guitar.
Nice way of looking at things. And what album would you take? If you could take one album, what would you take?
Gosh, that's a hard one. You know, I would take The Software Slump by Grandaddy. That's one of my top 5 best albums ever. Love it.
Interesting.
So when's your next gig coming up?
I've got a gig a week on Saturday in the Burton Taylor Theatre in Oxford. Should be nice. 50 people all sat down, giving me their undivided attention. Looking forward to that.
Do you ever get nervous playing smaller crowds than you do playing larger crowds?
I love both. To be honest, they're different animals. When it's a small crowd, everyone's an individual person that you can see the whites of their eyes. You know, when it's a big crowd, they become like big blob. I love them both, to be honest. Neither of them make me nervous. I really enjoy playing live.
Sounds good.
So I'm Nicole.
And I'm Rob, and we've been here with Stillman, and you can find his music on ukmusicsearch.com.
Thanks for asking my questions.
See you later.
When all the lies you spread rain down on your head, I could be your roof. And when all the blood you spill stains your hands still, I'll wash away